The Forbidden Line.
When my mom married Daniel, I feel like everything in my life changed overnight. No, they did. I had to get us to a new house. But I also had to share it with his son Ethan. From the very first moment, we called each other. Our words were short, and the silence between seemed endless. He thought I was spoiled. I thought he was unbearable. Every glance felt like a silent fit. But as the days passed, something aspects began to happen. Living together meant noticing the little things about each other. I discovered that Ethan stayed later, scribbling verse in an old notebook. Once he never showed to anyone. I discovered that I had a habit of leaving a cup of coffee on the windowsill. Enjoy the smell and watching the stars fade into the night before taking the first sip. Those smells, details invisible to others, become spoken secrets between little by little. The arguments faded, and the silence began to feel warmer.
Ethan didn't immediately remove his hand. I didn't either. It was a second, maybe two, but just long enough for the air to become dense, charged with something new. He looked at me, as if looking in my eyes for an explanation that even I didn't fully understand. I walked away clumsily and without saying a word. I left the kitchen with my hair raising. That night I couldn't sleep. I tried to convince myself that it was just an accident, a minor coincidence, but when I met him on the next day, his eyes did not mine, neither did mine to theirs. We'll start talking to each other more. They weren't great conversations, but there was a softness that wasn't there before. Sometimes when he thought he didn't see it, he would watch me as wrote in his notebook, and I inadvertently found myself looking for excuses to stay a little longer in the kitchen when he was there. But as something was born between us, a fear also grew, a fear that had name, Moon and Daniel. Because even though we didn't share blood ties, and although we were just learning to tolerate each other, that invisible line separating us began to blur. And we knew, or at least the way we thought we knew, that it should not cross.
What terrified me most was that a weekend ago, my mother started planning a little trip to France. She noticed that I still felt uncomfortable with Daniel's presence and that Ethan's presence irritated me. So to smooth things over between us and share as a family, she come up with this wonderful trip. A trip where I don't know what might happen since our unexpected touch. I felt different, with indescribable anxiety to touch him again and felt that whirlwind of emotion once again. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, or a word to describe what I felt, but I still can't find it. During the trip, we made small talk to ease the pressure, the silence. Daniel was keen and asked me about the things I liked to do or my plans for the future. Ethan listened silently, and for some reason I felt like he could stop looking at me and spent special attention to every answer he gave as father, as if he wanted to short the information. After a while, it was my mother's turn to ask questions. She asked Ethan about his tastes and what he wanted to study. Finally, she asked him a unexpected question. Do you have a girlfriend? I turned to look at him and I made the short. Instinctively, I turned my face toward the weekends, trying to act indifferent and use the beautiful scenery as a distraction. But his answer as unexpected and made me heart speak a bit. No, but there's someone who's been catching my attention lately.
That night, his words echoed in my mind like a secret confession. There's someone who has been catching my attention lately. I didn't dare to ask, but deep down, a dangerous hope started to bloom inside me. Could it really be me? The rest of the trip passed in a blur. Every glance, every shared smile carried a weight we both tried to hide. It felt like we were walking on a thin line, pretending to be just two step siblings learning to get along, while in reality something unspoken tied us together. On the last evening, while everyone was asleep, I found myself on the balcony staring at the stars. The night was quiet, almost sacred. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. Ethan, he didn't say anything at first. He just stood beside me, close enough to make my heart race. Finally, he whispered, "You know it's you, right? You're the one I meant." For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. I turned to him, and in his eyes, I saw the same storm I carried in my fear, desire, and something dangerously close to love. And when our lips finally met, I finally understood there are lines that, once crossed, change everything forever.